Hi everyone, today I'm going to be a Mythbuster and I want to bust or confirm a myth, or rather a legend. This is a Chinese legend about the invention of the game of chess. Okay, so the myth is the game of chess was invented in China. And the man who invented it showed it to the Emperor of China. And the Emperor was so impressed that he said, I will give you anything you want for this game. And the man said, all I want is a single grain of rice. And the Emperor said, that's all? Just a single grain of rice? He says, yes. He goes, but what I want is a single grain of rice for this square today. But tomorrow, I want 2 grains of rice on this square. And on the third day, I want 4 grains of rice. So the idea is that each day, the number of grains of rice will be doubled each square, okay? Due to the exponential factor of doubling a number each time, eventually he was giving the man bags of rice, then barrels of rice. So before they got to the middle of the board, there was not enough rice in all of China to give to the man. And the emperor was so angry because he felt that he had been tricked that he had the guy executed. So, is this myth true? I would like to find out. So, we're going to do a lot of fun math. We're going to find out whether or not there wasn't enough rice in China to get to halfway across the chessboard. Okay, so here we have a basic cooking scale. It goes to ounces, and rice doesn't weigh very much. So what we're going to do is I just got a little bit here, and we're going to pour this until we get to 1 ounce. So right there, that is 1 ounce, and this is how much rice is in an ounce of rice. And now we're going to count it. So we just went through the laborious process of counting rice. Can't say it was the most fun part of this test, but now we're going to get to the fun part. So my assistant over here, Jasmine, she counted 1,057 grains of rice, okay? And I counted 800 grains of rice. And my younger assistant, Sophia, counted 118 grains of rice. So if we add this up, this is roughly 1,850 plus another 118. So I'm going to round it to 2,000. So now we're going to start some new math. Okay. Now, so we've determined that 2,000 grains of rice equals 1 ounce. Now, the next thing we want to find out is how much is in a pound. Now, we know that 1 pound equals 16 ounces, okay? So, 2,000 times 16 equals 32,000. That means that in 1 pound of rice, there is 32,000 grains of rice. Okay, the next thing we want to find out is we want to find out how many grains of rice is in a ton of rice, okay? Now we know that 1 ton equals 2,000 pounds, okay? Therefore, what we need to do is we need to multiply 2,000 times 32,000. And that will get you 64 million grains of rice is in 1 ton. But the question is, how many tons of rice does China produce in a year? Now, according to Google, China produced in the year 2014 207 million tons of rice, okay? So to find out how many grains of rice that is, we have to take 207 million and multiply that number by 64 million. Okay? Okay, so the answer is 1, 3, 2, 4, 8, followed by 12 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, which is equivalent to, that's hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions, okay? So that's hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions, quadrillions, okay? So it's 13 quadrillion, 248 trillion grains of rice. Now, that's how much rice is produced in China in 2014. So now we can compare that to the chess myth by figuring out how much grains of rice is on the chessboard if you multiply it 2 times every time. Okay, so going back to the myth, we're going to figure out whether or not when you get to the middle of the board, if you multiply this grain of rice times 2 every time, you're going to have more than 13 quadrillion grains of rice. So maybe we should get some predictions. Sophia, what do you think? Do you think we're going to have more grains of rice when we get to the middle of the chessboard?
I think maybe have less. I don't know. I'm a terrible math
Okay,
person.
well, okay. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, and 64. Now, we need to start doing some fancy math. This last board is going to be 64 times 2. And we just keep on doubling. As you can see here, I've done the numbers all the way down, all the way down. And if we really want to get technical, the myth is busted because when I got to about the middle of the board, I had not exceeded the number 13 quadrillion. But when I got to where this guy is standing, I got to right here, right on this spot, the number I reached is 18 quadrillion, 85 trillion, 824 million, no, 18 quadrillion, 85 trillion, 824 billion grains of rice. So all you do, you achieve that number by doubling this grain each time. And to get to this point here on the board, there's 5 trillion more grains of rice than China could produce in the year 2014. So I will say that the myth is confirmed. Okay, now you might be saying to me, Nick, the myth is actually busted because before I got to the middle of the chessboard, I didn't quite reach the number 13 quadrillion. However, that was the amount of rice produced by China in the modern day 2014. And in modern times, China has factories and machines that can produce a lot more rice than could possibly be produced thousands of years ago. And supposedly this myth is thousands of years old. And so I would guess that the ability for the Chinese emperor to provide one man with that much rice thousands of years ago was nowhere near what China could give him today. And so I think that those goalposts need to be moved a little bit. And there's really no way for us to know exactly how much rice China could produce thousands of years ago. But if they could not give the man today enough rice to get to the end of the board, then I would say that most likely the Chinese emperor also could not give him the amount of rice that he wanted thousands of years ago. So I say myth confirmed.